What's going on, people? We're going to travel to Apep's Lair today. This is a 4-player FFA map that was intended as one of the maps you could play as in an FFA decider back in the, the battlement stages and such. And, well, far be it for me to tell you if it's a working FFA map, because up until recently, well, within the last, year or so, we haven't really had consistent FFAs. But finally, people are trying them. And Raenarill will be kicking us off here. He's got the Dark Sapphire Terran. He's in the bottom left, and he is going to be going for a bio opener. Meanwhile, we have in the top left as the Neon Carrot. No, Mango Zerg. That's Grass Eater, by the way. And in the top right, we have Kasuga, rocking out that Alice Blue. He is our 2-gating Protoss player in the top right. He's got the top right all to himself, so kind of an interesting option there. This Droleth seems to have been misclicked off to a very different location. Although I would love a proxy hatch. I would love to see a proxy hatch in Cosmonarchy. I just think that would be lovely. That's an interesting location for the pool as well. So, obviously the rush distance, especially by air, for these vertical spawns is very, very limited. But you got to go through this little choke there, and then across that ramp, up that ramp, and then you're in this location for the north. Meanwhile, you can enter through the middle of the map by doing something that's also pretty short in terms of distance, right? So that's probably one of the major flaws of this map, if I had to pinpoint one, at least as far as it being a 3-player FFA map is concerned. I think Excise, the Twilight map that I made, that's also for this particular format, is better in that regard, because even though you're still closer to one player than you are to the other, it still ends up working out a little bit better, I think. Kasuga's Legionnaire reveals that the bottom right is unoccupied. Oh yeah, I think Shambler mentioned that you can Bong Cloud in this map because it's a double gas with more minerals up here. I don't know if that would actually be good, but I guess maybe. Maybe it wouldn't be too bad. They're pretty close. That's when you lift your initial ministry and scarper off to that location. Throwing a Zethar Core and an anchor. I've seen it all. Starpad pretty early on here. I don't think Raenarill has realized that this is an area that you can be attacked from. He's going to put down an anchor, so maybe he has. Legionnaires are going to storm the gates over here. There's actually none of these quads are in the anchor, which is pretty funny. So, this amount of Legionnaires in your base is definitely a problem. He's going to pull his Zethar Cores back away from Raenarill's side of the map. And he's going to end up losing at least 2 workers. Make it 3. Make it 4. Counting with Pronogo here as we're going to lose maybe 6 workers there. Wow, 7 Droleths dead. Oh my god! He's actually got 8! The Mad Lad has done it! Oh, thankfully he doesn't get a 9th, but that is pretty bad. He's even forced Burrow. Oh yeah, true. That's a good idea. Meanwhile... Sedent, Ardent Authority. Kasuga definitely sitting pretty at this point after that much damage has been inflicted. So the neutral anchor will be devastated, and the Zethar Core will be killed. You can rebuild that one as Raenarill, but do you really want to? Actually, it might be technically unbuildable terrain. I think I maybe did that on purpose, like, oh, this is a temporary asset, and when it's gone, it's gone. That kind of thing. You can't lift the neutral anchors, by the way. I should have replaced them with the trench feet. Trench foot's pretty funny word. There you go. He's going to lift his own anchor, though. Still good to do that. Watchdog, a couple ant seals. Oh yeah, Raenarill's army actually looks pretty potentially deadly. You think about all those Mavericks stimming up and ant seals providing value. Is it going to be a fast Acantor from Kasuga? His embassy is on the way. He's definitely going to go for that Acantor drop. His natural completes as well. There you go. Acantor has begun. No expansion for Grass Eater, but that makes sense because he's obviously just lost a lot of workers. He's slowly coming back into things. He's actually got worker parity, but the problem is he's basically been reset. He had to spend all of his larvae on that, and he barely has any map control, any options for defending himself should an enemy attack him. Yeah, he's basically got none of that, so gonna go ahead and wait for his expansion to drop, and then he's gonna start making some units. There'll be more quads as his Hydra then completes. His base is all over the place. Gonna have more static defense be erected here for Raenarill. This is a Cosmonarchy podcast. And that's what I say when players are basically doing their own thing, player versus environment here. Obviously, Kasuga did raid earlier, but well, we'll see what his reaction to all these Mavericks is going to be. He's already got the one at Cantor, but his army is elsewhere, so he's going to have to make magic happen with that. You know, that one Warden behind there isn't going to do too much when the Antseals reveal it and the Mavericks can shoot it with stim with impunity. I did think recently about what if Antseals would block the damage of Stimpack, but it just something about it doesn't quite seem right. So actually, Kasuga will be caught at about the same time as the Mavericks end up stimming up here and threatening him. So with the Hydras coming out as well, this army is basically spoken for. It's dead. The embassy going to get focused down as well. Wow, Raenarill is gunning for it, man. He is going to go straight after the economy. I'd love to actually see him somehow get away with sniping that Acantor, because he absolutely could do it. Ooh, first shot hitting. Second shot, okay. Yeah, now he's going to go after it. Oh, that last one was really big, though. The rest of these Ecclesiasts might even be able to help pop this off, but not with the Antseals there. Detection reveals a witness. It ends up dying. A lot of workers have gone down here for Kasuga. He's actually lowest in the whole lobby, even behind even behind his opponent, Grass Eater, who is all the way charging across. Gonna see what he can do. There isn't a Cantor that might end up finishing. LMAO, says Smarty Cakes, who wanted to watch this instead of play. Imagine, Smarty could have participated in this. Well, the Cantor will clean up the Mavs. Some Zealots are over here. And Grass Eater is apparently a very, very long boy. That's just, this is, that's overcompensating, you know what I mean? He's not actually that long. Well, Kasuga is about to take another base. He's going to need to rebuild his workers before he can really do that, I think. No, he's going to drop it. I respect it. That's not terrible. Meanwhile, Maverick Cyprian with a Cestus and multiple anchors and Hurricanes are there. Good luck trying to break that position. See ya. See ya, nerd. Well, we've got plenty more stockades where that came from. Raenarill going to go ahead and take his natural now that he's inflicted fatal damage, it feels like. Got to spend down a ridiculous amount of money, and he's still got a decent amount in the bank. Trying to go after the Cyprians, but the Antseals protect. The Antseals protect! Holy shit, the Antseals protect. Wow. All right, well, only a little bit of damage to the Cyprian. We love Antseals here. I know Biddy B's leaving a comment like that right now. I love Antseal. A real quote from Ben Taberski. So I do think that the worker count here is clearly favoring Raenarill. And he's got his natural up, so there's that. But if Kasuga gets left alone because people underestimate him, this actually could be a humongous issue. Hydras are once again attempting to trade. Where a bunch of Zetracors failed to pierce the Antseal's shields, the Hydralisks will try, and they will get 1 unit, 2 units for their troubles. Now starting to focus down the Antseals, but this is rough stuff for Grass Eater. I don't think he's going to get away with this one. Albeit, there's nothing coming out of these stockades, so Raenarill's forgotten about that. He's making 5 Cyprians now, because he's actually remembered to queue them, but I don't think that's a good move. He's got the one Cyprian, and a good billion Antseals, but the Masons are going to be the target of Grass Eater's ire as the Hydralisks continue to envenom. Poor Masons. Poor Ahmed. This position still garrisoned by those Mavericks and Cyprians in the anchor. It's a hard position to break through. But a lot of gas mining just got wiped out there, so Raenarill is going to have to invest into more units and more workers. And again, we've got Kasuga out here, capping his ridges, slowly rebuilding. Gonna drop an embassy again that got brutally executed by all those Mavericks, and now we got the ski-backed scab for Mr. Grass Eater. You know, it's really funny. We're actually seeing one of every race, obviously, and, you know, once the Escozi drop, we could see them too in the bottom right. Well, let's revisit this. Smarty Cakes can be the Escozi player, and everybody else can play their race, and then it'll be great. It'll be a fantastic time. The first Escozi cast is going to hit hard, honestly. It's going to be an immense moment. Much jubilation will be had. Expect a lot of placeholder assets. Not the greatest of saturations for Kasuga, but he's actually overtaken everybody else in terms of worker count. I don't know where they all are. I guess most of them are up here, yeah, in the double gas base. Makes sense. Some Bactylisks being made as the Phalanxes entrench. It looks like Raenarill's game plan here is just going to be to try to take the fact that he did a bunch of damage to Kasuga. He doesn't know Grass Eater took a lot of damage, so he should be a little bit concerned about that. But overall, I think he's probably just going to be like, yeah, I'm going to defend and tech up. That seems like what his game plan is. Now, I don't know that that's the best choice when we've got Kasuga out here chatting it up, despite all of those losses early on. And we got Grass Eater going for a ridge cap in the main base, and obviously enjoying that saturation. He'll also take this back base, separated by a walkway to a ramp. He's got pretty good control over here. Like, the one thing that you can see when Raenarill builds his stuff like this, you're not exiting this way elegantly. It would still behoove Grass Eater to have like an Ovaleth in this area so you can keep watch if there are any direct attack paths being taken. But because it's so heavily fortified, I feel like it's really unlikely for Raenarill to use that as his method, his vector, to pressure the Zerg player. We got 7 Bactylisks being made. We got a third base on the way here for Raenarill. And with Kasuga going for the Argosy now, I wonder where he's making it. Oh, okay. He's going to also put a Crucible down there. That makes sense. One thing that's a little underrated that I think more Protosses should try to do is use the Crucible, like put it in the around a Nexus. The reason why it doesn't happen too much is usually you're using the Nexus as power field for something else. And so the Crucible would block some buildability there, as well as generating its own power field. But it just feels like empowering your Scribe production. It's like having a permanent Chrono Boost or something in StarCraft 2. It's really good. So it's definitely something that seems like it would be a good move here. These Zoryus are just going to get bopped almost immediately. We get to see the new Corrosive Touch Rilla Core in stock. Reduces attack speed and armor. Doesn't stack. But Bactylisks are going to really enjoy that, so there's a lot of synergy with that particular move. Let's see if anything comes of it as the... Oh, honestly, those Zoryus went down real fast. The Hurakan Cyprian combo really hurt the options here. Oh, man. And this Cyprian amount is very deadly. A bit of a standoff, and this one is not Canadian, even though it features one. Overall, though, I will say I don't really favor either of the players on the left. I still think Kasuga is going to end up taking this game because he's been left alone for so long, ever since that little bit of damage Raenarill did. If you're trying to control the pace of a free-for-all, it's really good to try to constantly pressure your opponents and get a bead on how their growth is. Like, stop them from expanding for free. There's no defenses over here, for example. Obviously, the Lakers could flank, but, you know, pressure that. Yeah, obviously, Kasuga, I mean, this base is probably easily destroyed, but Kasuga has good vision. It does feel like this base shouldn't have been allowed to get up and running, and now he's setting up defenses at the ramp up to the top right. It feels like this is a really difficult one for his opponents to control now, but there was an opportunity where they could have pressured him, and, you know, every time they were thinking about expanding or growing or building more bases, they got to think, okay, my opponents are also doing that too. So the Lakers are going to burrow up over here. They're definitely trying to get into the area, but Cyprians are shellacking them. I feel like the Lakers should have moved somewhere other than where the rest of the units were going to be. The Hurakans get absolutely toasted, but the Antseals are so strong here. The Lakers really need to get in on this action, and I guess they get a good couple of spines, but they end up getting cleaned up anyway. Mostly an army trade. Usually that favors the Zerg, because they can remax their army a lot faster. With only, like, 7 Cyprians. Yeah, don't you dare. I like Smarty Cakes here. That was a fight that was really poorly taken in terms of positioning, right? Like, the Lakers get killed by the Cyprian shots, and then it hits everything else. So, definitely could have been doing better there. The Lakers obviously did reduce the Antseal shields quite a bit, and so it's no surprise between them and the Bactylisks that the Antseals end up falling. Be proud of that. I agree. Well, no, don't be proud of it, actually, but I agree with the general sentiment, you know? You should not be proud of failure, but the fact that you didn't immediately die is impressive. So the Hurakans are going to try to riposte this Hydralisk poke. Ends up being a bit more expensive than Grass Eater wanted, and doesn't even kill an anchor for his troubles. At least then you put the Fear of God into the Terran. Yeah, get him, Ahmed. Blindly chase him, Ahmed. Oh. I guess we see what happens there. A lot of phalanxes have been set up over here. I love the Cestus empowered watchdogs with bonus armor, you know? It's not shown in the tooltip because it's conditional, but basically this means that watchdogs have 4 armor instead of 2, and the phalanxes will have 2 armor when facing their targets, so that's pretty big. 6 armor in siege mode, or in tank mode rather. Oh, that's a big power shellacking. That's some rough stuff right there for the Lakers, but they will start to break through. The first anchor falls very easily. Now, the ant seal count was reset so much that I feel like the Lakers will have a lot of an easier time, but the Cyprian count is still so high that the Lakers might die before they really get the opportunity to do anything. Definitely struggling there. They fall back. There's a burrowed Zorius, which is very funny. Plenty of additional resources on the way here for Kasuga as he saturates that exterior base. 16 range tanks. Yeah, so they, well, firing down to here, yeah, they have actually, it's 14, because its cliff advantage is 1, not 2. Smarty's living in the past. But it's 2 to 12, so double high ground is plus 2. Yeah, Smarty remembered, it's 14. It's a good spot, good spot to be. But I think it's all going to come crumbling down when the Solarians and the Epigraphs come in. And this is because Kasuga has not been touched. These two have been locked in a 1v1 podcast style because it's not exactly been super active. This guy's literally listening to a podcast right now while playing. This man is he's the Kasuga experience, you know what I mean? Like this is the pro Krogan experience or something, you know? Like what a mess. He's just chilling. Playing that PvE like something fierce. And he actually does crucible his Nexus this time as well, so... This one's making mad scribes. It's a mad, mad world. It's a dad world. Or it will be. Hope you guys know. Dad no-go is coming. Anyway. I don't have any announcements to make yet. Quad Starport. Wyverns are going to be on the field. Yeah, they could raid these workers pretty nicely. That's definitely a case. Ultrav Cavern, Matravel Nest. Okay, alright. Mutat Spire. I guess we're seeing some things out of the Zerg player, but they need to, like, ally versus Kasuga, and still they lose, I think. I don't know, dude. This guy's been he's been enjoying himself. I think, I can't remember what the format of the submission here was. But I think there was something like Kasuga posts. It's just an FFA. Yeah, okay. He doesn't. I thought this is one of those submissions where the player who posts it is like, epic free for all. You should cast the, and then like it's this. Like what? What do you mean? That's not happening. All right. Well, the Demiurge is out. Danger, danger. I actually don't know if he can bust this position with his ground army, but the Solarians and Epigraphs are definitely going to be a strong force multiplier. And Kasuga's just continuing to vibe out. He's actually, even though he's got his army in this area, he's more so just using it so that he can expand more. You know, he's got his witnesses, his pylons, his scribes watching for every little bit and bob of the enemy activity. Like, these guys could be ready to GG between each other, and he wouldn't have any idea, as they have not really expanded outside their quadrant. Kasuga being the first one to do that. 3k minerals, 1k gas. I mean, it's unsurprising. He's got loads and loads and loads of homies. A Monument of Sin, yeah, that's what I was expecting. Loads of expansions. He's going to go Star Sovereigns. Love to see a Didact with that, of course. He has certainly tried to trick shot. You know, people thought Kasuga was sus. That was the only specific wording. Because Kasuga learned how to trick shot really fast. And I'm pretty sure the reason was just that somebody told him about it. I think it was Smarty Cakes. And he's like, oh, I want to do that. And then he did it. So, pretty funny stuff. Oh, the Solarians engage. Good luck killing the stewards with 3 watchdogs. The Cyprians start to cycle down, but you really need a lot of Madcaps for the situation. Madcap 10 Senders would actually go really hard here, because even though he's got 12 Solarians that he's built up to this whole time, well, yeah, never mind. I don't think Madcap 10 Sender would save you, but a couple of those, generally speaking, is very, very good for that. A couple of units dominated. This map's so claustrophobic. Well, probably Grass Eater's first time on it. But hey, the ground army does get shellacked. It's just how are you going to deal with 12 Solarians, brother? You know when the newbiers, the newbie homies, they play like Starcraft 1 for the first time, and they're like, I'm going to make 12 battle cruisers and win by A-moving. That's like, I understand why some people think that kind of strategy is OP or whatever, just because it's like once you get to that point, it's really hard to fight. There are tools in the game to fight 12 Solarians, but Raenarill does not have them. I mean, he's reduced to building Valkyries. That's not a bad idea. If you have like 30 versus 12 Solarians, you might be able to kill most of the stewards. I don't know. I don't know what the breakpoints are of that. But now he's going to get double teamed, and the Madcap 10 Senders are going to thin out the Zerg just in time for the Solarians to wipe everything else out. Grass. He has mass Solarian. Just letting you know. Yeah, I don't know what they thought was going to happen. Hey, look, the Madcap 10 Senders are doing a number on the stewards already. That's exactly what you need. As long as the 10 Senders don't get killed, that's the main thing. But you attacked my base. It's true, Grass Eater did kill this base with Wyverns. That's fine. Just be ready for that, LOL. Yeah, it's true. I like that. You know, Raenarill's so Canadian. He's like, yeah, listen, it's okay that you're attacking me. I just wanted to let you know. Like, friendly reminder, friendly information as the Zarkavicors descend to munch on all the artillery. There's 11 Zarkavicors, and they're going to try their hand at cleaving those Solarians. I'm not actually sure who wins this fight. The Solarians are starting to fall. I did say earlier there's tools to deal with this, but the Demiurges are helping out quite a bit. You can see him trying to go after those to stop the mind control, and he does do that for the most part. Honestly, the Solarians should just try to stand and fight. They're not going to escape, so you might as well thin the herd of the Zarks. Well, a couple of the Phalanxes somehow stay alive. Don't ask me how. Here come the Zarks. So the Zarkavicor, when it takes damage, releases like a retaliatory strike. Oh, the Wyvern fleet has come around. Okay. Hey, that's pretty cool. I love the dominated Zethrakor that was Ascendant. Very good. Whoever would have thought that something like that could happen. A couple scribes are going to end up going down here. The Zarkavicors are continuing to kill things. Gorgons have been assembled. Oh, jeez. No, don't stack up. Oh, the Zarks do AoE. Oh, they're finally dead. Well, Grass Eater's just going to make more. Meanwhile, Star Sovereign. Where's this one's rally? Yeah, we already have one. I knew it. No, it's funny. He's got the Argosies, right? But he's just making Empyreans at this point. I made fucking Gorgs. Yeah? Turn him into Zarks. What's the problem? You got... Look at the money you've got, dude. What was he trying to build, if not those? I'm so confused. Oh, well. Vithralisks would be pretty helpful for the Zerg army right now. Well, Tier 3 is being constructed because Raenarill still has a ridiculous amount of money. Needs to cap his reservoir. Or get a reservoir on that. I guess he's saving up for the wellbore. I don't know. That seems so inefficient to me. A couple of these Acantors are from the beginning of the game. Do we have that wounded one? Is it still around? Yeah, this guy, this legend, killed all those Mavericks earlier. Mother of God. You know, I might revise my viewpoint since the Solarians all got wiped. The reinvestment from Kasuga has to be pretty big. If that happens again and there's not critical damage done to the Zerg, right? That could be a really big problem. The problem is he's just flown right into a bunch of Empyreans with his air stack. So you live by the stack, you die by the stack. The Gorgacores are not working out. And the Zarks are just going to get shellacked. So Empyreans deal splash damage. The missiles from the Star Sovereign deal splash damage. I guess maybe Pariahs were down here too. I'm wondering how they died so fast. But yeah, this is a bit of a reset for sure for the homies. 12 basilisks are being made. You're not going to get very far with that. Hey, they could jump on some of these units that are being mishandled. Kasuga's down here trying to build more workers. He's like, I need more. He's only got 210 workers. He needs more than that. There you go. He's picked one of the splash dealers. In fact, there's only the one Empyrean here for splash. Obviously, Pariahs still do it. Our Sovereigns are good for it. Yeah, I don't know. No Vithrilisks are coming out for Grass Eater, so I don't actually think he's going to be able to do too much versus this. Like, Vithrilisk Bactylisk actually shreds Capital Crafts, but I don't know if it's going to be quite enough here. You'd need Nathricors, too. Nathricors are really good into Star Sovereigns. Oh, he still doesn't. He doesn't even have the thing for Viths. That's why he never upgraded his scab into a swamp. So, yeah, the defensive glassing doesn't do damage to air units, so he's safe there. Yeah, this is looking pretty deadly. I mean, maybe Raenarill can clamber up to tier 3. He's making diadems, which are going to be good versus the ground army. But it feels like really what he needs right now is probably the Iron Foundry. Or, you know, Silver Tongues. I mean, 7 steps would be pretty solid versus air stacks. Silver Tongues are very good at sniping things like Star Sovereigns. Man, he says, I have no Vespine. I wonder why that happened. I guess you never reset this. Only mining from this with one guy, this from one guy. Yeah, he's not mining from his double gas base. Zeg life. Zeg is a named Zerg hive from a comedic campaign. That's actually where Ahmed came from. It's the same place where Zeg, the Zerg hive, came from. So, shout out to Zeg one time. But yeah, he just isn't saturating his gas, really. He's got 3 workers over here. I don't know if maybe some raids happened while we weren't looking or something, and then that's the reason. But that is rough. That is rough. I'm not sure if there's anything over here at one point. But the Zerg is dead. Long live the Zerg. The Protoss. Honestly, I like that Kasuga has ground and air here. It's a really nice mixture. It makes it a lot harder to deal with the air, since you also have to deal with what's on the ground. And even the air is not a monolithic, just air, A-move thing, right? It's like, you got the glassing you can do, the Empyreans are there for splash to cover each other's weaknesses. Functionally speaking, he probably will win just by an A-move. But versus an enemy with equivalent resources, he would have to think about what to do exactly, and he would have the ability to do so. A lot of Zark Avricors are going to come out here and wound Kasuga's worker count, but he literally has... I think at one point before this happened, he might have had like double the workers of both players, of both other players in the lobby. As it is, he has 5x the workers of Grass Eater, who has well and truly met his demise. I'm not really sure what Raenarill's going to field to try to deal with that. He's making diadems. The Protoss ground army is a threat. He's got a lot of madrigals. I guess he could deal with some of the stacks, but it does feel like he needs those Iron Foundries. And if he wants to go bio, that's a different thing. He can go Apothecaries, but that's a GG there. I think he took our sound with him. Unfortunate. SMH. Oh, tier 2 coming for tier 2 Zerg coming for Kasuga, I see. That's going to be deadly. As is customary. We're going to see the Gorgons get blown up by Pariahs. Servitors are not bad either. Obviously, the Empyrean's doing a lot of splash damage. He picked a couple of Demiurges, so it wasn't without necessarily without cause, but losing all 33 of the Gorgons there is really bad for obvious reasons. And now the air stack is going to come in. Fighting around the Cestus is a good move, but Madrigals are better at dealing with stacks of air units, and they're not so good. I mean, their armor pen is only 2, right? So they're not so good at dealing with like the Star Sovereign. They're only just now breaching its shields. Madcaps are going to get overrun there inside the 10 Sender. These units aren't quite doing anything right now. The glassing is definitely going to commence here. Actually, this Star Siren might end up going down in time. No, never mind. It's not going to... We got the cinematic shot. Hell yeah. I feel like it would be too much of a spoiler to use that for the thumbnail. But at the same time, it's very attention-grabbing. GG, LOL. Yeah, I feel like the diadems did not really get too much work done because they were built on the side where the Zerg would come in, and the Zerg was getting killed by the Protoss. And, yeah, I do think Raenarill still could have clutched that match up from the position he was in. Maybe Grass Eater could have as well, but at the end of the day, Kasuga podcasted himself to victory. Podcasting yourself to victory is a real thing. It's only possible when your opponents forget that they're playing against you and instead play against each other. And that's a dynamic that you'll see in free-for-alls sometimes. So thanks for submitting this game. I hated it, but it was still fun. So obviously I was sarcastic. GG.